So let's talk about planning for this trip so we don't end up like that freezing guy in his shorts. So when we're going to plan, we got to think of all the different obstacles. So one of the obstacles is weather, of course. So all I'd have to do to get around that obstacle and have a plan for it, right, would be with Chicago December. Okay, now I'm looking. I'm going to go the 21st through the 1st. Great. Okay, now I'm looking at it. Now I know what the weather is. I can plan accordingly. Easy thing to overcome. I've thought of the obstacle, how to overcome the fact that it's cold, dress appropriately. Now I need to know how long we'll be there. So if I'm going to be here 2 weeks, I've decided, okay, now I need to think about how much clothes I need to last me 2 weeks. Prices is going to be important, how I'm going to get there. So price is an obstacle because I might think that I can fly there, but I waited a little too long and I have a feeling that it's going to be a little bit expensive because I waited too long and it's over the winter break. And then boom, there it is. It's 578 bucks, 585 bucks, right? Like that's a lot of money, too much. Cannot afford that, especially with my family coming. So boom, now flying is out of the question. That's an obstacle. Price was an obstacle. Now I can't fly. That means I might have to try to find the bus. I might have to get to drive, which suddenly now I'm losing days on the trip. So now I'm going to plan it differently. If I'm driving there now, that there's an obstacle of the length of time. There's an obstacle of gas, where we might stay in between because it's going to take a couple days. Suddenly that changes the plan completely. If I didn't think about all this, if I just decided on December 21st I was going to figure it out, I'm not even going to make it, right? And also how I'm getting there. If I'm taking the bus and driving for, oops, it's called Greyhound, right? If I'm trying to take the Greyhound and travel there, like that's going to take me several days. I'm going to need to plan differently for what kind of things I bring to kind of keep myself entertained and not go crazy on the trip. Things like that, right? And then finally, who we'll be with and who we know. Am I trying to stay with my cousins? Well, then I better plan ahead and let them know. Because if they have other visitors or guests, it might be really hard to get in there. Or at least we'll be kind of stacked up on each other, and then I got to figure something else out, right? And there's a billion other things I need to consider. But if I don't start thinking ahead and planning ahead and thinking of the obstacles that are going to be there for me and thinking of how I'm going to get around those obstacles, right? Like if the price is too high for a flight, I'll take the bus or I'll drive, right? Like I need to think about these things so that we can have a really successful trip. And once I plan it well, then I can go and not worry once I get out there.